Storm, earth, and fire, heed my call.
What's up everyone? I know it's been a while, but today I have another M+ commentary for you guys. With the new season coming out and more people asking me on stream if I'm still playing retail keys and if I could give them some tips about like how to play the new season, and especially when it comes to survivability, I thought it would be a good idea to make a video for the YouTube channel again as well. And that's why we're here today. This is a key that I played on stream yesterday. I just played some keys with some homies and yeah, I would say we jump right in. I'll just talk you guys through it, my thought process, my decision making, just like we always did it with these M+ commentaries. So yeah, I would say Ruby Life Pools, which is the key that we're going to talk about today, is probably the best, like one of the best, if not the best key for Enhance this season in the dungeon pool that we have, for various reasons. I'm going to talk about that as we watch the key. And yeah, keep in mind, I'm like 11 or 12 item levels lower than the other two DPS in the group. So if you're looking at like, you know, the damage comparison or whatever, even though it's not like, you know, it's not like a huge difference or whatever, just so you know that, yeah, the item level difference is there. And you will see why Enhance is so broken for this dungeon. And yeah, we will just jump right into it. I'll talk you guys through the key and we'll see what happens. So we have a pull timer here. I'm still using Wolves before the key. That is just from back in the day when Primordial Wave didn't exist and didn't give you 10 stacks and whatever. So you don't actually have to Wolves before. It just gives you 6 Maelstrom weapon stacks for free. A Windrush for the group, so we can move to the first trash pack a little bit quicker. And this Juggernaut here is basically my first target, because we're a funnel spec, so I want to funnel. Since it's bolstering fortified, we want to make sure that this guy dies ASAP. So I spread some flame shocks, and as soon as I have some flame shocks in the pack, I target the Juggernaut, and you will see if the nameplate is outlined green, that means that that enemy has flame shock and lashing flames. And you can see I'm not spreading lashing flames at all. I'm just funneling everything into the Juggernaut, because the Juggernaut has to die before or at the same time as the other mobs, so that it doesn't like get bolstered very high, because then it's going to be very annoying. And since it is the biggest mob with the most HP, we're just alley blasting, lava lashing into the Juggernaut, and you can see it actually dies before the small enemies die. And then once that's done, we're just going to cleave onto the rest and make sure that all the other mobs die as well. You can see I did like around 800k, like now it's 700k of pure funnel damage, like no AoE, just cleave and funnel, which is pretty good, I would say. And then we can already move into the next pull. Here we want to just make sure that we keep the ice bolts interrupted, that we have AoE stops. We're not playing these keys in voice, by the way, so if we're overlapping stuns or kicks or whatever, it is a little bit just, you know, like run in and YOLO it kinda, cause yeah, there's no like predetermined CC rotation or no calls, as I said, since we're not in Discord. So yeah, we're kinda just trying to spread our lashing flames, cause now there's not like a funnel target. We want to spread out our AoE damage. We don't want to just kill one mob very quickly and then bolster all the others. So as Enhance, that is basically the moment where we want to spread lashing flames as much as we can. So you will just see me tab through different enemies and just spread lashing flames out. And yeah, you can see my AoE damage is actually kind of competitive, doing like 750k right now. And yeah, of course we want to make sure that we use our Thunderstorm to like knock them up. We want to use our Cap Totem, we want to use our Interrupts, make sure we get our utility used, so we're not just sitting on it for the majority of the pull and not using it. And yeah, here at the end we have 2 mobs that are a little bit higher. You could have actually, or I could have actually placed an Earthbind Totem, but in this case we had a Vortex down, so our tank was safe to kite them anyways. We get an in-cap here, or like an imprisonment on the mob, so we can just run through. And we pull the Defier. Here I actually fucked up, because I used my Primordial Wave, and then I saw that we had Whelps as well. If I saw that earlier, I would have waited to use the Lightning Bolt of my Primordial Wave until I spread Flame Shock to all of the 3 Whelps here, so I get more haste out of it. In this case, because basically we have a Fire Mage, which is funnel, and we have me, which is funnel, so the whole group is playing for funnel. So we're not actually killing them until I get my second Primordial Wave out to get the haste from Splintered Elements, and now we can actually start cleaving down the Whelps so they die. And then we just continue to single target down this mob. And that mentality of like, okay, you have an Enhanced Shaman in the group, you need to play around the funnel is one big thing that, especially in pre-mates, works wonders. It makes the keys way quicker, specifically when its affixes like bolstering, for example, because there will be a lot of mobs, not only in this dungeon, specifically in this, but also in other dungeons, where you will have a trash pack and there's like one big mob and a couple of smaller ones, and you don't want to just kill the small ones and bolster the big one a couple of times, and then your tank might get one shot or you might wipe or whatever. So you want to make sure to funnel into that to make sure they die at the same time, which is what Enhancement is perfect for. So here we have the first boss now, and our tank is instantly pulling it onto whelps. I'm delaying my lava lash by 1 global here, because I saw he only spawned 2 whelps, and I wanted him to spawn all the whelps before I then press lava lash to spread out the flame shock onto the other mobs. Because if you press lava lash and you waste the cooldown, and then he spawns more whelps, and you don't have lava lash anymore, then you kind of just griefed your opener. So you can see I'm doing 900k DPS here, and it's still just funnel. I mean, sure, the lightning bolts hit for a lot of damage on the whelps, but that's basically just there to get haste. And then we just funnel into the boss. And this is one of the perfect bosses for Enhance, because you have the whelps in the beginning, if your tank plays like that, and then you have these 2 sets of whelps, where, again, you will see I'm not tabbing to the whelps. I'm not AoEing on purpose. All I'm doing is alley blasting into the boss and just using the whelps to spread flame shock to them. Because the more flame shocks I have ticking, the lower the cooldown on my lava lash is and the higher my damage on my lava lash is. So you will see, as long as I can, I will use alley blast. If I don't have an alley blast stack, I will then use chain lightning. Because I mean, of course, at some point they should die. But for the most part, as long as I have alley blast, I will just press alley blast, and that's it. And you can see the damage that I'm doing, still 700k, where everyone else is doing way less damage than me. And we just killed the whelps, and we already get the next whelp set. So by keeping them alive for so long, we generate so much boss damage that the whole boss fight is going to be way shorter than if everyone just blasted AoE, killed all the whelps instantly, and we then had to like single target down the boss afterwards. So same thing is going to happen here again. We just keep up our normal like priorities, except that even though we have a lot of targets, we don't instantly chain. We try to alley blast as much as possible. And on this boss, because of this mechanic with the chill storm, I actually keep my sprint here, even though sometimes you get entanglement in this week as well. Just walk out without using sprint to break it, so you have sprint when you get that ability. Then here I wanted to walk out of the entanglement, but I waited for a second for the hail bombs to spawn, so I don't like grief the placement of that. And yeah, then you can see both me and the mage are doing 600k, since of course a fire mage is also funneling, or at least not AoEing, it's just like cleaving the damage from the ignite. Probably not as much funnel as an Enhanced Shaman. I would say that Enhance is probably one of, if not the best funnel spec in the game. And most people always ask me if I think that Enhance should get a rework or whatever. I got that question like easily 10 times in the last 2 streams. And I don't think so, because people always want the big AoE number. And I do get it that in a meta where, especially when Vengeance DH is very strong, and everyone just pulls literally like half the dungeon and then just AoE blasts it down, it's tempting to become an AoE spec or whatever, right? But I kind of like the niche damage profile that we have, that we're insane at funneling. And yeah, in any meta that's not like, you know, what this is right now, of like, you know, Vengeance literally just solos the pack, like does all the interrupts, does all the damage, and just, you know, can basically solo the entire dungeon or the entire pack. Of course, it invites you to just like blast AoE, but I kind of like the funneling playstyle. So here we want to skip the Storm Dragon. We want to make sure we interrupt the Cinder Bolts here. And again, as Enhanced, there's a lot of targets that you could attack here. I'm having a bit of an issue to target the Destroyer here. But as Enhanced, we just kill the Destroyers. That's it. That's what we want to do. Because if you bolster the Destroyer and the Inferno goes off with like 2 or 3 bolsters, you will be one-shot. The entire group, in fact, will be one-shot. So what we want to make sure that we do is we get interrupts, we get CC, and we just funnel into the Destroyer. You can see my nameplates again. Everything is orange. Orange means in my UI that the enemy has Flame Shock ticking on them, and green means Flame Shock and Lashing Flames. So you can see I'm not spreading Lashing Flames, I'm not trying to spread out my damage, I'm just trying to funnel into the Destroyer. Here I got killed because, well, we fucked up the interrupts, and yes, I don't have an interrupt tracker at the moment on my screen, because again, this is a key from the live stream, and I was doing something else in the live stream, and I turned off my interrupt tracker because it was bugging, and it covered like my whole screen in like another group. I was doing something, I can't remember what it was, and I forgot to turn it on for this key. But usually you should probably have an interrupt tracker so you can see whose interrupt is ready and when it's ready and when it's not ready. Yeah, I didn't have that, so we missed 2 interrupts and both of them were on me. And well, you know what they say about Enhancement Shamans? We're very squishy. So 2 Cinderbolts means that my life has ended. But yeah, I just walked back quickly, and then we're back to, again, funneling into a Destroyer. And this is what I meant when I said that Ruby Life Pools is probably the best enhance key that we have. Because if you think about Ruby Life Pools, specifically in Fortified, you have the Juggernaut in the beginning, if you happen to play it. You have the big like mini-boss mob in the beginning of the first boss that you can funnel into. Then you have the first boss, which is a funnel target. You have the 4 destroyers here, and depending on how you play it, the Fire Dragon, which is all funnel targets. You have the second boss, which is always 2 target cleave, which is also perfect for enhance. Then you have another mini-boss, or like mini-boss, like the thunderstorm thingies, between the second and third boss, like 2 of them. And then the mini-boss before the last boss, and last boss is 2 target cleave again. So literally every pull you do in Ruby Life Pools is ideal, I would say, for Enhancement Shaman damage profile. So yeah, we're getting to the 3rd destroyer here, and it's pretty much just rinse and repeat. I mean, you can see I'm not spreading Lashing Flames again. There's no point in doing it, sure. I mean, maybe in overall my damage would look better than if I just funneled into the destroyer. But you know what times keys is doing the damage that's optimal. And what doesn't time keys most of the time is if the whole group is greeting for big overall numbers, and then, you know, actually delays the key by, you know, just as I said earlier, you kill 4 mobs, the main one gets bolstered 4 times, the tank dies, aggro switches over, 2 more people die, then the tank gets rest or something, if not a full wipe, maybe the mob resets, you then have to single target it down, like, it's just down bad. So yeah. Oh, in this dungeon, of course, you can also play Purge, which is very good for the Flame Dancers, so when they die, you just purge them. Then we're gonna play the Fire Dragon here. Fire Dragon is relatively easy, actually. Just remember, it only starts doing a lot of damage once it hits 50%. I saw a lot of puck groups that want to use Bloodlust on this. Just use Bloodlust when they pull it. Not a good idea. Just wait until it's at 50%. Then you press Bloodlust, and then you just burn down the last 50%. In a 13, it wasn't that bad. It actually didn't do that much damage. But if you're stumbling into higher keys, it's definitely very, very important that you have that Bloodlust at the right moment. Like we did it here, we Bloodlusted right before 50%. And then ideally you would also have Astral Shift ready for it. Because as I said earlier, the defensives of Shaman are not exactly it. We're pretty squishy, and in my opinion, the survivability of an Enhancement Shaman is a huge part of the skill cap of Enhancement. So if you get good at like knowing what you can survive, how you can survive it, when you can survive it, that's gonna be very, very beneficial. So yeah, right here I have to delay my damage a lot, because well, I had my Flame Shock on the Destroyer, and then the Destroyer toggled aggro to the Mage, so it wasn't standing clumped up on top of the other mobs. And when something like that happens, it's very, very important that you get a feeling for like, okay, how close do mobs have to be to my Flame Shock target for Lava Lash to spread the Flame Shock to the other mobs. And once you get a feeling for that, you will learn how to sometimes like hold a global to make sure that it spreads to as many targets as possible. Because let's just say I put my Flame Shock onto the Destroyer, and then it toggles aggro to the Mage, so it walks a little bit away, and you have the pack here, and you have the Destroyer here. What then happens is, if I instantly Lava Lash it, no other mob will get Flame Shock. I will then either have to wait like 6 to 8 seconds until I can Lava Lash again and like spread my Flame Shock, or I will have to manually Flame Shock another target and then just have like a Primordial Wave Lightning Bolt that just hits 2 targets, miss out on a lot of haste, miss out on a lot of Lightning Bolt damage, and it just spirals. I also don't have the Flame Shocks ticking, so my Lava Lash cooldown will be longer, my Lava Lash damage will be lower. It's like, you know, it all builds up on each other, and like, yeah. Griefing one global sometimes can legit grief the entire pull for you, so it's very important that you keep an eye open for stuff like that. And yeah, the destroyer funnel has been finished on the 4 destroyer, like the elementals. And now we pull the boss. For this boss, again, Enhancement Shaman is awesome for this. I just use my cooldowns on pull. I'm not holding or anything. Especially with the current tier set that we play, you never hold for anything. You have a 24-second cooldown rotation, so you just send it. The boulder was coming up here, so we stayed away from the ad until the boulder was baited. Then we walked to the ad. It's pretty much enough if you have 2 people interrupting here with the damage that we have. You can just send primordial waves onto this, so you get the 2-target lightning bolt and you get the haste from the splintered elements. Here you bait the boulder to the side or to the back again before you walk out of the AoE from the ad. It's a lot about like when you kill the ad here, like how you have to time, but as long as you have like an add-on like DBM or Little Wicks, personally I'm using Little Wicks, and you can always see like what mechanic is happening. You can see I walk to the side to bait the boulder away, then I walk into the ad. Do not like either bait the boulder to where you want to move, because then you just grieve the space for the entire group, and also don't stand exactly on the ad, because then depending on how exactly the boulder rolls, you can grieve the melees out of uptime on the ad, which obviously you also don't want to do. So yeah, so far we've been doing that pretty well, and the boss is like closing in on 50%. And even though the ad is spawning here, I'm just sending my cooldowns, because the cooldown is so short that you really do not want to hold it and then miss out on the use of primordial wave. So yeah, what I did here is I send it right before, and then you can see if I get a hot 10 proc, just with my alley blasts alone, like I already have so much ad damage anyways, even without using my cooldowns. So here I walk to the side again to bait the boulder, and then the ad dies, and then you have more than enough time to walk out. If you're ever in a situation where you may not have sprint, or maybe one of your group members is a little bit in a bad situation to get out of the ad AoE, like when they explode, remember you have Windrush, so you can drop that down to help the whole group like move out of it. Wasn't really necessary in here because we have a Vengeance, which can leap and whatever. We have a Mage that can just blink. We have 2 Druids, which you know, can do whatever movement they have to get out of it. So in this group it's not really necessary, but if you have like a group where, I don't know, you have like a DK, you have a, I don't know, like something that's very slow, doesn't have a lot of like movement, maybe a Priest, you know, then make sure that you have that as well. Here we get a perfect ad bait again. We stay to the side, so we bait the boulder. There we go, baited it to the side, not to the front. Then we move into the ad, and then we just repeat that. Here we get the call to just hit the boss, because we don't need to kill the ad anymore. And yeah, we want to make sure that you're still interrupted though, so I tab over interrupted. Want to make sure that no cast goes off, otherwise it would be an unnecessary death here. And yeah, nothing too much to worry about in terms of defensives. Of course, the higher the key gets, the more dangerous the Inferno cast from the ad gets. And then you need to check with the group and specifically the healer. When do you use Astral Shift? When is there an external from the healer? When is there an external from, I don't know, like when you play an augmentation, like a Zephyr or something. And yeah, here we have a Tempest Channeler. Again, you ignore every other ad, you just funnel into the Tempest Channeler because that has the highest HP. It is the most dangerous mob in the pack. So all I'm doing here is literally just funneling into that. You can see only one nameplate is green. I'm not spreading Lashing Flames. The Channeler has to die, and that is my job. That is what I'm doing. We don't care about the overall. Also with the Thunderclap, the Storm Warriors do Thunderclap. And it's hard to see, but if you stand all the way out, like furthest you can stand and still hit melee spells, you will not get hit by the Thunderclap, depending on like where they stand. So basically what you want to do is you want to find the Storm Warrior that stands the furthest out on your side, then target that one and stand all the way at max melee range, and then you will not get Thunderclapped. Because in high fortified keys, the Thunderclaps will basically one-shot you, so you want to make sure that you don't do that. Alright, again, we have a Tempest Channeler. And also with these Tempest Channelers, you want to make sure that if you notice that your healer is struggling to top you, make sure that you send a healing surge sometimes. I'm not sure if it was in this key, but either in this one or the one we played before, I did die to the Thunderstorm because I wanted to healing surge, but I was on global, so I died to it because it didn't go off anymore. Just make sure that if you see your healer is struggling with topping the group and the lightning storm is going off, that you're ready to send a healing surge. I think it might be here where I tick very low. Actually, no, I left that one. Okay, so it wasn't the key before. Definitely just something that you want to make sure you pay attention to. It might also have been on the mini boss that's like coming up now after this trash pack. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure about that anymore. We will see in a second. We will see. But yeah, we got this one done. Then we just regen some mana on the healer. We have 11 minutes left. The timer's not that bad in Ruby Life Pools. Sure, there's people that timed higher keys than a 13. But it's definitely not too bad in a 13. I bet in like a 14 or a 15 it would get a little bit closer. We also had our mage have to run out and switch gear set after the first boss, so we lost a little bit of time there. And we're still not like in a big hurry or whatever. So Ruby Life Pools, partially due to us playing perfectly around the funnel. Definitely not too bad time-wise. And yeah, this guy with the Lightning Storm, terrible. Definitely terrible damage-wise. So you want to make sure that here you also have your finger hovering over Healing Surge. Remember that you have Astral Shift. Remember that you have your Earth Elemental as a defensive as well, because we don't have that much. So we need to make sure we get the most use out of what we have. And again, of course, it's forbidden here to AoE. You just funnel into the High Channeler. That is your target. You don't care about the Storm Warriors. They are just your funnel targets. You just have them to have Flame Shock ticking on them. I can't stress this enough. I know it sounds like the entire key I just talked about the same thing, which is, oh, enhance funnel, enhance funnel, enhance funnel. Do not kill targets, just funnel into the target. But it's true, it's true. And I see so many people that just don't do it. Like, I have people every day in my stream that are like, oh, do you think enhances is a bad spot because we can't do the AoE of, I don't know, like a Havoc DH or an Arms Warrior or whatever? And I'm like, no, that's not at all what it is. I don't like the homogenization of every class can do the same thing and everyone is just doing the same thing, just the class color is different, you know? I like having different damage profiles. I like having classes be niche for a certain thing. And I like the fact that enhancement is niche for funnel damage. And also, by the way, this was the moment where I didn't get my healing surge off and I died. I could have Earth Elite, I guess, and maybe lived it. But yeah, well, I guess sucks to suck, so I died. Here also one thing you can min-max is we're gonna take the Thunder Clouds from the left side and the right side onto the boss. You want to delay your opener a little bit, and it's gonna be worth it. Even though you're gonna say, wait, you're holding like your damage here a little bit? Yes, but it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna end up being more boss damage if you do it like this. So see how he pulls them together, and I wait. So I get my Primordial Wave onto the dragon, but then I don't send the thing. I flame shock the boss that's on the ground. I lava lash it to spread the flame shocks, and then I send my lightning bolt. And then you always just hit the dragon as long as you can. Once the dragon leaves, you switch to the one that's on the ground, and that's a perfect opener. There you go. You get all the haste in the world, and then as soon as the dragon comes down, you switch to that one again. That way you always have lashing flames on both. You always have flame shock on both. You got the most funnel out of the little ads that you pulled in the beginning. And it's just perfect. You can see I'm doing 500k DPS here. And then you want to make sure, of course, on top that you see where the wind is going for the fire. So you can like pre-position so you don't get caught off guard. Because this boss, even in fortified, can be kind of dangerous if you get the fire. Because the fire application does a lot of damage to you. And you can see here we got the dragon almost to 50%. But we don't want to quite push it to 50%. I might be wrong on this, but I think it's 50% when it pushes into P2. So now we just want to do damage to the one on the ground as close to 50% as we can. And now the dragon is casting another breath and it doesn't cancel. So now we want to push it below 50%. And you can see with Bloodlust just how much we're pushing it. At 50% it's supposed to phase and the dragon is at 28% now. So yeah, pretty good. Here you want to make sure when the guy jumps onto the dragon, it loses, like it drops aggro. So I got hit there to like 30%. If that was like a very high tyrannical key, it could have just one-shot me. So make sure that if you know the boss is phasing, that you just chill for a second so you don't get aggro and smacked in the face, because otherwise you could be dead. And yeah, the dragon is already dead because we had the perfect Bloodlust timing. We had insane burst when we popped Bloodlust. And then all we have to do is finish off the rest of the boss fight. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And we can see the overall damage was, let's see, 434k. I think item level wise in this key I was 500 and 504, 505, something like that. And as I said, you can see the other DPS were like 11 or 12 item levels higher, and they're not bad players at all. It's just that we played towards my funnel, and that's what you have to do. And yeah, then you can see you can pump big numbers, and you can be efficient for the key. We 2-chested this key, even though we had some fuck-ups. We had some AFKing, because the mage was fixing his gear and walking out of the dungeon. And yeah, those were my thoughts. That is how I approach a dungeon like this. And yeah, you probably just shouldn't complain that Enhance doesn't do as much AoE. You should find your strengths and then play towards them. Talk to your group about it. In a puck group, I know it's difficult, but especially if you play in a pre-made, make sure your group knows what Enhance can do, and that you shift the way that you play the key a little bit towards how you need to play to be efficient. And then, yeah, just practice. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed watching today, guys. If you have any questions or whatever, either type it into the comments. I'm also very happy to hear any kind of feedback that you guys may have for me. Just type it in the comments. Or just join the live stream, twitch.tv/waves. I'm live pretty much every weekday. And yeah, so if you have any questions or want to talk to me, then gladly do it there. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you again for watching. Take care, stay healthy. And with that being said, peace!